Space weather is environmental conditions caused by celestial objects' activities. Notice in this definition that our objects is S apostrophe, and that's because we're looking at more than one activity and more than one object that's contributing to the environmental conditions that we refer to as space weather. Let's look at some examples. Here we're looking at a graphic by ESA. One object that contributes to our environment of space weather is the sun. The sun could have many activities occurring in and around it, such as a coronal mass ejection, which is a gas bubble coming off the sun. There could be a solar flare, which is like a spit from the sun of charged particles and radiation, or we could have solar protons streaming from the sun. Besides the sun's activities, we could have another celestial object's activities also contributing to our environment, contributing to our space weather, such as cosmic rays coming from galactic events or events in other galaxies. We call them galactic cosmic rays. These activities could contribute to astronauts getting extra doses of radiation, which is not good for the astronaut. We could also have charged particles hit a solar cell and it could fry the satellite completely, or it could affect the instruments and degrading or scintillating the signal that's coming from space to ground and back to space. We could also have navigation satellites be affected. Your GPS could be off by as much as a block or two. When we have very strong radiation events, your GPS is off even more, a block or two as opposed to a size of a building. We could have airplanes that would be affected by their navigation, as well as ships be affected by navigation, and cars be affected by navigation. In addition, you have farming equipment that needs to place seeds at the exact same spot, and they need to know the exact GPS coordinate so they can go back and just fertilize that exact seed spot or just water that exact seed spot to save money on fertilizer and water. So here's another example of an industry that requires very precise GPS numbers. And if you have some kind of solar event or cosmic event, it could affect our environment and affect our GPS signal, therefore not giving us as reliable of GPS coordinates as we need. You could also have your radio waves be affected. Your AM stations could be affected if you listen to AM radio. You could have a brownout or a blackout, especially if you're in the northern latitudes. The power grid could be affected. On the ground, you could have these electrical currents going through the ground, especially in the northern latitudes. Although this graphic doesn't show a mountain, you could also be at the top of a mountain, hiking, for example, and you would receive extra radiation as those that are astronauts in space and people in airplanes flying in the northern hemisphere. You're at a lower latitude, you'll receive less radiation, but you'll receive more due to the effect of the space weather by these celestial objects. These are some examples of how space weather affects you.